One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights, the only show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of investment banking. My name is Alex Mason, and I am your host. Thank you for joining me today. We're going through these technicals one by one, and this is really kind of the last one in the enterprise equity value section that's more advanced. There aren't too many advanced quote unquote questions here. A lot of the enterprise and equity value questions are, very fundamental, very conceptual, and we've covered them already here on the show. So this is the last one in this section. Then we'll move on to another domain. But with that being said, today's question is this: how much is too much equity dilution when you're looking at a company? How much is too much equity dilution? Now, this is a very subjective question, and it kind of invites a subjective answer, but we're going to tackle it anyway and just kind of think about this concept of dilution. Now, you may have seen a few different terms related to the equity in a corporation. We've touched on this in the past. We've talked about the fact that there are basic shares outstanding of a company as well as diluted shares outstanding. Remember the treasury stock method that we talked about many episodes ago? This kind of relates to that. But just as a quick refresher, what am I talking about here? First of all, the basic shares outstanding tells us something important. It tells us the number of shares of stock, that is the equity, that exists in the corporation today. How many shares have been created already and that actually already exist? And remember, we can take the shares outstanding, multiply it by the price of the stock per share, and we get what? We get the market capitalization, also known as the equity value of the company. Now, it would be simple if the story ended there, but the story does not end there, ladies and gentlemen. There's more to it. We have to consider this concept called dilution. In dilution, just when you kind of make some lemonade and it's like too concentrated and you add some water to it to make it easier to drink, that's the same concept of dilution. You're diluting your glass of lemonade in order to have a better mix of water and lemonade concentrate or lemon juice. Similar concept with a corporation. If you create new shares, you dilute the existing shareholders, and their percentage of ownership in the company goes down. Even if they didn't do anything, it just goes down because new shares get created and sold. So the diluted shares outstanding tells us what the number of shares of stock would be if all of the existing stock options were converted into stock today. Now remember, stock options, this is another form of compensation that companies offer to employees, especially in certain industries, like, for example, tech companies. Like when Google first IPO'd, like they were giving stock away left and right to their employees. A similar story with Microsoft. There are many Microsoft millionaires out there who became that way simply because they held onto shares of stock that they were given as part of their compensation in the early high growth days of the company. So stock options are another form of compensation, and they can be converted into actual stock if they're exercised. Now, the number of stock options plus basic shares outstanding is always going to be greater than the basic shares outstanding, right? Because those stock options are additive. Now, as a general rule of thumb with this concept for diluted equity, the diluted equity value of a company is usually not much more than 10% or so above the basic equity value of the company. That is, it would be unusual for there to be so many unexercised options out there for a company to affect the total share count by more than around 10% or so. And this kind of makes sense intuitively. It would be really weird if a company had basic shares outstanding of, let's say, 100 million, but they had stock options hiding out there that were worth 200 million. And then all of a sudden, shareholders got diluted by 2/3 because now there's 300 million shares out there in the fully diluted state. That would be highly unusual and would not really be great for existing shareholders. Why would existing shareholders tolerate that? They would just probably drive the stock price down because they know that there's so much dilution potentially out there back in the first place. So you're looking at a proportional amount of dilution that's not too crazy. If you see something significantly different than that, that may be a signal that something is up and you may need to do some more investigation into the capital structure of the company, look at the stock options that are out there, look at the RSUs being awarded employees, because there are definitely companies out there that award, in my opinion, excessive stock-based compensation to themselves and their employees, both the officers of the company as well as the employees. And it costs shareholders a lot of money. It costs shareholders a lot of money when that happens to an extreme. So just something to think about when thinking about dilution of equity. But that's what I got for you today here on Investment Banking Insights. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm just wrapping up a nice chilly day here in Ithaca. I shouldn't say chilly because it's really like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not that cold, but I had to put a sweater on. So, just chilling out here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time. Take care.